definitely want to make sure that you are plugged in, and you definitely want to make sure that your people are plugged in, because that is a part of our 4-step system. The Dare to Dream step 4 is plugging in, and plugging in till you win. Okay, so we definitely want to make sure that we continue to get our people plugged into this part of the system. All right, so for those of you who may or may not know who I am, my name is Miss Nikki Alexandria, and I have been a part of this Unity leadership team since 2015 under the direct leadership of the gentleman that I have the absolute pleasure to introduce to you all, or present to you all this evening. Now, he is someone that, is definitely like a living legend, an icon in this industry because of his leadership, because of his servant leadership, okay, because of his skills. And he is masterful at being able to reach people, being able to help people, being able to connect with people, being able to help people go from point A to point Z, okay. It's definitely because of his passion for helping people. And that comes from his background, very humble beginnings, okay. Former U.S. paratrooper, high school graduate, blue collar worker who decided that he himself wanted something more for himself, something more for his family, something more for his people, something more for his community. And so since that time, ladies and gentlemen, he has gone on to become a highly sought after coach, mentor, and speaker, like literally coaching and mentoring and helping so many people around the world. And I'm super excited that he is the visionary of Unity, which Unity stands for you and I together. Yes, because the truth is we can do so much more together than we can ever do apart. Okay. So with that being said, I am going to just move on out of the way of greatness. I have my pen, I have my notebook ready to take notes, and I hope that you guys are doing the same as I bring to the line none other than the millionaire mentor, Mr. Jason L. Scott the first. Okay. Mr. Jason L. Scott the first. Are you on the line, sir?
Yes, young lady, I'm absolutely here. I'm on the line. I appreciate you for being the phenomenal host, coach, mentor that you are for people as well. You did such an amazing job, as always, introducing and making sure you set the stage. Everything you do is really about that personal leadership and taking personal responsibility for who you are and who you choose to be and how you choose to show up. So I thank you so much for everything that you do for the organization. Thank you. And for everybody on the call tonight, that's actually what we want to talk about tonight. It's really important. What's going on, Corey and Deidre and Coach Catherine and Divine and Sherry and Michelle and Rosie and let me see, I see a few other people. Stuart, what's that? Stuart Global. Oh, that's Kevin. Okay, I see you over there, Kev. I see you in the cut over there too. All right, let me get him. See if I can put this as my spotlight here. Well, anyway, guys, I want to make sure that today's Easter, right? And I know it's Easter, but it's still business as usual. And even on Easter, there's a lot of people, a lot of times on many holidays, many people feel a state of depression. Some people may feel uplifted, other people feel depressed. And a lot of times because they may not be where they want to be in life. They may be looking at other people who've come in town, family members coming around. Like, for instance, I just left my family's home a little while ago at my sister's, and family member coming from everywhere. And I'm looking at all the youngins that came up, since over the last 5 and 10 years. And many of them now have upgraded their lifestyles. They got brand new cars and they got children. And so that means life is going on. But as life is going on, somebody else who may be looking at their own life may look at who they are and where they are and may feel that they're not exactly where they want to be at. And if that's you on this call, whether it's your business, whether it's your life, whether it's certain situations, as myself and Nikki was talking earlier today, is really about that personal motivation that people may feel. We say all the time that motivation is temporary and fleeting. But it don't always have to be. You know what I'm saying? If you find a way and strategies and ways to engage yourself on a daily basis, to find a way, simple ways and strategies that you can actually get yourself motivated or inspired. Because we always say inspiration is God within, right? Inspiration is something that when you be inspired, you'll get up to do the things necessary. But motivation, they say, can be temporary and fleeting unless you actually have learned strategies and ways of how to. So let's talk about a few of those things. What are those things, right? A lot of times you notice when I talk and I do coaching sessions or I'm doing leadership sessions, like today is our Sunday night vision mastery call, and everything about vision mastery, learning to master your vision. Vision is what you envision, what you see with your mind's eye. With your eyes closed, you can still see things, right? So when it comes to that space where you have to find self-motivation, many times it's the stories that you tell. And I want you to write this down, embrace the power of personal storytelling. All right? I want you to learn to be authentic in your personal experiences, having a deep connection with people. When you're absolutely connecting with people, and of course, now our business is people. Our business is whether we connecting with people and people want to buy products or people want to join us in business. We still are about people, but learning to actually have that authentic personal experience that can deeply resonate with people, that can foster this connection of motivation from you to someone else. Because sometimes your storytelling, sometimes when you're telling your stories, when you're illustrating and you're talking about the challenges that you've overcome, and you understand the challenges they have going on, and you can inspire others to believe in their own resilience based off of your own storytelling. So when she was saying in the introduction, a lot of times she always tell me after I do a call, she'll they always say, right, Nick, she said, I love the way you talk, you joke, you have laughter, you do all this other stuff, you be up, down, highs, lows. But a lot of times, because in my mindset, when I'm talking to not just one person, but I'm talking to individuals, and I'm looking for ways to inspire them. I'm looking for ways, and many times I know that it's through stories. So a lot of times my stories may be a joke because I end up telling a story or something that happened. And those things for me help me to keep myself motivated. Those things are a reminder for myself of where I've come from. Those things help me to resonate on the inside. And this technique is especially effective when you're like a motivational coach, a motivational speaker. And because when we are doing the work that we're doing, we have to learn to self-motivate. And sometimes the personal stories you tell yourself. So when you're talking, a lot of times you can do two things. You can when you're actually thinking about something that's happened in your past, right? A lot of times you can relive those things. That means in that moment you can review it. Let me say review and relive. Write that down. You can review those stories or you can relive those stories. And a lot of times when we review the story that we're reviewing is something that has happened, and you may say the story. For instance, I'll tell a story a lot of times about my mother, and I'll tell a story about how the reason why I grind the way I grind and still stay focused the way I'm focused and still make things happen. Don't get me wrong, life can be in the way and everybody can get off center at the moment. But I know the reason why I still show up the way I've showed up has been because of the fact that the night before my mother passed away, and I was holding my arms. I told her, Mom, I promise you I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue to inspire people. I'm going to continue to build, because I wanted to connect to something in that moment, because I remember when she was about to pass and she's making this noise in a hospice bed. And I'm asking my sister, what is she saying? And my sister's like, just go pick her up. And when she said, go pick her up, I didn't, at first, I'm looking at her and I got my arms together and I'm looking to pick her up. And as I put my arms under to pick her up, I tossed in the air lightly. And when I tossed her up in the air, I caught her and I broke out crying. Now, I didn't cry because I thought my mother was about to pass. I was crying because of all the stories, all the lies that I told. Mom, one day I'm going to set you free. One day I'm going to let you travel the world. One day I'm going to do this. All the things that many of us have said to our family. Mom, one day I'm going to do this. One day I'm going to do that. One day, one day, one day. But that one day has to be today. The day you decide to draw the line, you step across and you do not go back. But I tell that story because that story also, when I can review it, when I'm just staying the story, or I can relive it. And sometimes I'll tell the story and I'll take myself to that moment and I may shed a tear. My voice may crack because I'll go to that right now. I'm telling a story, but I'm just reviewing it. I'm going through it and I can see it, but I'm not reliving it in the moment. But when you embrace the power of personal storytelling, you'll find that when you learn to be able to connect with people based off of your own stories, understanding that when people are telling you what they have going on in their lives, many times some people are just waiting for a person to stop talking so they can talk. But other times, like myself, I like to listen for what they're saying, because if they're giving you all of who they are and you're listening for it, you're listening. And I would say there's four levels of listening: listening to, listening at, listening with, and listening for. So those four levels of listening to, listening at, listening with, and listening for. And listening for, FOR, is the highest level of listening. So when you're listening and people are, and you already know, like when you're going into it, you want to be authentic and learn more about the person. So when they're speaking, you're listening for, and they are listening for the things that you can connect with, the things that they may tell you something surface, but when you listen long enough, you start to go deeper. You start asking questions. It'll go deeper into the real reason, the real thing that has them deflated, that has them going through a process, going through the program, going through a problem. They'll tell you the real thing, but when you learn to listen, you ask questions, you can go deeper. But you also can connect to them in your storytelling. So when you're absolutely doing the work that we do, even when you're presenting, even when you're talking, even when you're looking to build connection with people, embrace the power of storytelling. Number two is set clear, achievable goals. Write that down. Again, this is how you can find yourself getting personally motivated on a daily basis, finding things that you can actually do. Because as we all evaluate where we are right now, you can see your own personal numbers, you see your own personal income, you see you might have said a thing you want to do, but did you really establish a specific realistic goal that provides direction and purpose? Did you really do that? Or did you just say, yeah, I'm going to hit this rank. I'm going to hit this rank. I'm going to make this money. I'm going to do this. Or did you really write it down? Ask yourself that. Like ask yourself, did you really, even this week, when you know you had a big objective, did you break down the big objectives into smaller objectives that's into manageable tasks that you can make some type of progress that's attainable on a daily basis? And it helps you to stay focused during challenging times. So ask yourself, did you really do that this week? When we talk about setting goals, but did you set a goal, or did you just say it? And if you haven't, just know these are ways of how you can get yourself into a space to where you can be self-motivating in this process. Number three is celebrate small wins. Celebrate those small wins. And again, we're talking about ways of how you can become self-motivating through challenging times and things like that, right? But celebrating small wins, recognizing and celebrating incremental achievements, the things that reinforce your progress that you're having. It reinforces that you are having progress. I know a lot of times we look for things, we may set a big goal, and if the big goal don't happen, we can lose morale. But when you celebrate small wins, you can actually boost morale. And when you start to acknowledge the small wins, that's why you see, like in our group, like I think Catherine today was like, hey, she's like, I got a sale. I did we know we have the mission that we're supporting people in Kenya. And she's like, I did this right here. I got one more. I'm like, yes, yeah, because that's a small win. That's why I was like, yeah, good girl. Yes, yo, get it, girl, get it. Because that's the same thing with Sunshine. Sunshine was like, yo, I got one. I'm like, yo, great. Because you have to celebrate the small wins, and they put them into the group. So not just for yes, it's for inspiration, but it's also for the acknowledgement that they are absolutely there. They have a goal in place. They have incremental wins, and they're celebrating it. So ask yourself, even when somebody else is doing, are you celebrating that, or are you just looking at it and going whatever? Knowing you yourself should be having a small goal, celebrating. See, many times we have to celebrate other people. You have to celebrate. You have to celebrate. You have to celebrate others. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's not happening for yourself, you have to do unto others as you want to have done unto yourself. You have to be able to celebrate and let the universe recognize that you yourself are clapping. You yourself are clapping the way you want others to clap for you. Matter of fact, even when you're clapping, you're celebrating yourself. Because if one man can, another man can. So learning to celebrate small wins are really important. Number four is cultivate a growth mindset. All right, cultivate a growth mindset. And it's basically encouraging like the belief, the abilities, the intelligence, all these things start to grow in this process. Everything can be developed through dedication, through hard work. It fosters resilience when you're absolutely going through personal development, growing yourself. Sometimes we may hear a person say they're self-made, and many times they're self-made, even though you have had other people who have showed up in your life to help move you along. A lot of times we may feel we're self-made because the individual, like myself, I have a high school diploma, no degree. But even with that high school diploma, I've been able to qualify for this ring that was gifted to me when I earned $1 million in a company, one company that I represent, TLC. All right. That's one home-based business earning close to $2 million, and they're earning multiple millions of dollars in the industry of home business, direct sales, entrepreneurship, having worked for the one for 30 years, been able to travel all over the world, travel to 30 different countries. I've been able to travel to Slovenia and Iceland and Norway and Kazakhstan and Tajikistan, Uzbekistan and Africa and many parts of Africa, go to South America and go through Cali and Bogota and Medellin and all these places I'm traveling all throughout the world, Mongolia, places I've been able to travel because of personal growth. Cultivate a growth mindset. It helps you to be able, when obstacles and challenges and adversity shows up, insurmountable obstacles that tend to show up and a person just gives up, the right mindset, the right growth mindset will allow you to overcome those self-imposed limitations. As I say many times, you know what I'm saying? Adversity is life, and life has a key to your door. When he comes in the front door, you have to be going out the back door because you have things to do. So that's why number 5, practice positive self-talk is important as well. Practice positive self-talk. And you have to learn to replace negative thoughts with positive affirmations. And those positive affirmations can enhance self-esteem and motivation. And that's, again, we're talking about how, because again, a lot of times I know people feel like they're stuck. We're in a space to where if you haven't hit your goals many times, you look at your life many times, you look at 2025 and you say to yourself, I haven't hit my goals. It's 2025. It's already the first quarter of the year has gone by. January, February, March has gone by. We're into April. We're halfway through April. I'm in the second quarter of the year in 2025. And I said 2024 was going to be my year. 2023 was going to be my year. 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015, 2024. You've been saying it's going to be my year for as long as you can think back. And here it is, 2025, and it's still not your year. And many times we have to replace that negative thought with positive affirmations. The practice of positive affirmations, self-talk, talking positive to yourself, it really is something that can help you manage stress. It really can, because when you start to feel stressed out, and a lot of times if you don't change it, you go down a rabbit hole of thoughts that leads to another thought. You keep digging yourself into a hole that you went from being like, it's like even a person who wakes up in the morning, the person who wake up in the morning, stub their toe on the bed, and already they set their whole day. Oh my God, this whole day is gonna, then the whole day, everything tacks on to that, because now you're mad when you wake up, you're mad when you get in the car, you're mad when you're driving, you're mad at the whole world, and you can start spiraling out. And every time you turn around that day, you start saying, every time I turn around, something else is happening, because you can literally spiral yourself out into this negative self-talk. So you have to learn to practice positive self-talk. Maintain a constructive outlook, even during adversity. You have to do that every day, Peggy. Trust me, I get it. Every day, everybody got something. Everyone has something that's going on. You know what I'm saying? There's always something going on. And it really is, and I get it. But that's life. And life is life. And when people say life is life, and you can say the words and just understand the words, but what does that really mean? When you say life is life, and are you thinking negative about life? Life thinks, so therefore you're like, oh man, life is life. And now you start taking yourself into a negative way. Yeah, life is life. And that could be good. Did you have a great call with your kids today? A great something positive happened? Did you make a great sale today? Did you talk to somebody, have a great conversation today? That's life in too. I mean, all these things are lifing as well, but are you having love for that? Or you just focus on everything else and you want to let life mean negative? Life means deterioration. Life means it's falling apart. Or does life mean living? And what does living mean to you? Number 6 is build a supportive community. Build a supportive community. Surrounding oneself with supportive individuals is important. That's what we do. And that's why we do what we do. That's why many of you have gone on to earn an extra $100 a week, $500 a week, $1,000 a week, $5,000 a week, all this other stuff, because the money just comes as a part of us being connected in a community of positive reinforcement, positive encouragement, accountability, all right? Because that's what we're doing in our supportive community. And unity stands for you and I together. Yes, Rebirth is about that community. It's a positive, supportive community. And when we looking to encourage each other, and definitely is about accountability. You guys know that. How many times when I say something, I'm like, hey, do this by this day. A goal, I always make sure I give a goal and a deadline. And I'm like, check in with this, text me this. You know why I say text it to me? For accountability. You know why I say post it and do certain things? For accountability. You know why some people don't do it? Because they don't want to be held accountable. I'll literally say, hey, post this and do this. You know why they don't do it? Because they don't want to be held accountable. And then there's other people who say they want to build a team of people, but you want to have an organization of people who's responsive to you, and you're not responsive yourself in the group, in the organization. Everyone on this call is a part of the leadership team. Everyone on this call most of you have been with me for a long time. Many of you guys have been with me for years. And many of you can do the same call I'm doing right now, because you already know many strategies, techniques, and ways of how to grow yourself and grow other people. So when we're on this call on an Easter,
like lights all the way around.
we're on this call on an Easter, all right, on an Easter Sunday, and like Nikki said, we're open for business, because if you went by a gas station up the street and they were closed, you were on what type of store, what type of business is this? They're closing. Well, we open too on a Sunday. All right, I'm open too on a Sunday. How can you get mad at somebody else? We got a call today. That's bananas. Is it really? Huh? Is it really? It's real. Okay, so what you gonna do? You gonna sit there and watch TikTok videos for the next hour? That's what you're gonna do? So your plan was on Easter to watch TikTok videos for an hour instead of being, because we'll give you 1 hour of power. So you rather watch TikTok videos and then be in the comment sections and then be like, oh no, you don't, you son of a, you mother, you son of a. So you want to be on you rather be in comment sections going down a rabbit hole. Let me tell you something, you son of a, and then do like I do, like I've done this. You mother, I'm like, delete. Get that. Let me get my ass out of this comment section. Let me get out of this damn comment section before, because sometimes I have a you son of a post in the comment section. Then all of a sudden, some ass will say something negative to me. Now I'm like, oh, you got me messed up. You got me messed up. So I'm like, yo. So that's what people right now, they're not on the call because they down some rabbit hole right now. You know what I'm saying? Somebody right now down a rabbit hole got their cigarette in their mouth and they typing with the smoke burning their eye, because that one eye closed and the smoke burning right now, and they like somebody's right now going down a rabbit hole because they're so focused on staying negative. Exactly, having a whole argument for nothing. I've done it. Listen, if you've done that, if you've done any form of that right there, give me some fires in the chat. Give me some fires in the chat. You know what I'm saying? If you've done any form of that, and it's okay. Once you recognize it, you gotta say, listen, I can't go down this rabbit hole. I can't go down this rabbit hole. That's why building a supportive community, a community of people who are built on love, built on connection, built on growing, built on personal growth. All these things. Oh, okay. I'm going live on TikTok at the same time. Okay. Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate that over there. Thank you so much right there. All right. So all these things, guys, are important for people to understand that this community engages in similar goals, maybe similar challenges. Like a lot of people have financial challenges. A lot of people have connectivity challenges, not being able to connect with people. A lot of people they're trying to start business challenges or just life challenges. And it can foster a sense of belonging. And through that belonging comes the motivation. Number 7 is lead by example. Write that down, lead by example. And again, we're talking about ways of how you can become self-motivating, how you can get yourself up. I know we wait for other people to motivate us, but I'm giving you things and ways of how you can become self-motivating motivating for yourself. And this stems from the first call I got early this morning. As soon as I woke up, Nikki was like, we talking about motivation and how to get people motivated. And she was giving me some concepts and thoughts. I'm like, listen, that's great. You need to train on that. I said, train on that this coming Wednesday. Matter of fact, good train, because she was dropping some gems today. And I'm like, yo, I said, you're right. You're exactly right. I said, you need to do a training on that. I said, you need to put a training together for that, because we're always thinking of how we can keep the organization moving, how to keep people moving. Just like you're thinking the same thing, Tammy. We're always thinking of ways, what can I do? But only thing I don't do is, well, let me not say that. I'm about to say the only thing I don't do is say, what am I, is it me? Because a lot of times, sometimes you have to assess. I don't assess what am I doing wrong. I just assess, okay, how is it that what am I doing that I'm making shift and change and do this, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't think about for myself. I mean, I always have results. I always sell. I always recruit. I'm always doing something. So I'm like, what am I doing that other people may not? What is it about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, that they're not able to do the same thing? What is that I'm doing? If I sponsor 5 people this week and other people haven't, but I've given the same information, what is it about what I'm doing that's different? Is it a mindset? So I'm always assessing and analyzing, because I'll give everybody the same thing. I'll say to everybody, listen, grab somebody up, do it in this time frame, and put together that's why today was I had two game plan sessions today. You know why? Because I tell you there's a time frame to do things in. And by the time I had a conference, a call with the joint on Friday, within 72 hours, you want to have a game planning session. So today was within 48 to 7, 24, I'm sorry, 24 to 48 hours. Today was 48. So I'm still going through the same process. And I'm like, I'm teaching everybody to do the same thing. Then now from there, I got launch calls scheduled for this week. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing the same thing. So I'm always assessing. And as a leader, that's what we do. We look to assess and see what can we do? How else can we help people? But the thing is this, number 7, like I said, lead by example. That's why I lead by example. No matter who, because I recognize that many people in a different place. And that's one thing. A lot of times we look at somebody else and we like to say to ourselves, why am I not there? Because I'm doing the same thing they're doing. But are you really? And a lot of times, no, because I'm not doing it the way you're doing it. I may be following the steps, but I may not be following your thoughts in those steps. You may be following the steps, but you may not be following the thoughts that I have in those steps. So when I'm doing the work because I have, based off of experience. When you do a thing long enough, a ratio will appear. And based off of that ratio, I recognize that if I do it this many times, I do it this way, certain things that happen. If I help this many people, I just know that as time goes on, people will actually start to respond a certain way. And I do it knowing that if I do it in this time frame, and I do it just knowing, I don't do it wondering if it works. I do it knowing it's going to work. I do it knowing that within a month's time, this is going to happen. Most people would do it for 1 week and then they'll stop. 2 weeks and stop. But I'll do it for 30 days because I know within 30 days, something normally happens. The compounding effect will happen. And I know in 30 days. So when you're leading by example, you're demonstrating commitment. Write that down. You're demonstrating commitment, resilience. A positive attitude can inspire other people to emulate these qualities. When you're being committed, you're having resilience, you're letting things rock, they bounce right off. As a leader, your actions can motivate your team. And it can motivate them to persevere through their own challenges. That's why I still show up as a leader. That's why I'll still show up. That's why I'll still do the same things that I coach people to do. Because people tend to fail for 2 reasons. 1, they were told what to do and they just didn't do it. Or 2, they were never told what to do. And we mentor people. Mentorship is wisdom without waiting. And anytime you have a chance to be mentored by someone who's in a space where you want to be at, their growth is where you want. They're already grown to where you're looking to grow. They already have accomplished and become who you aspire to be. All these things, when you know that you must lead, leader of one, leader of many. If I can't lead one myself, I can't lead any. So we must find it in ourselves that every day you're going to accept the challenge of leadership. Jim Rohn said that the challenge of leadership is to become something more than average. And I choose to become more. I choose to become more than average. I choose to become more than the average person or persons that I grew up in the projects in New York. I grew up in the hood. I grew up in the ghettos. I grew up, when I look at the old videos and old pictures, and I mean, I could see old pictures when I was in the military, I was in the army, going back home, the old long, listen, I was born in the 1900s, right? So back then, a lot of you guys see these little small cars. They have the old car, long cars. I'm looking at these old long cars, and I'm like, man, I'm doing a time when there's be a time when they used to have these things on tires called white walls, right? I know some of you guys don't know what that is, right? They used to like have the tire, then have this white strip on the tire, and you have to brush the white walls in the tire and stuff. So I had tires back then, got the white walls, and I'm traveling from North Carolina, and I want to scrub the white walls. I try to stop at a gas station before I pull up on my block to show my people that now I'm driving, Jamie. I got my crib. I'm scrubbing the white walls all around. So then, I'm driving it. I'm saying, but I'm looking at myself in this old picture. I'm like, yo, I'm like 19 years old, 20 years, like 19, coming back. I'm like, but across the street, I'm seeing the burned out buildings across the street. I'm seeing everything else that I was seeing live when I was in it, but I wasn't paying attention to it because I'm in it. But everything is broken down. I'm seeing when I go back across the street, there have been some time years prior to that, there had been a blackout in the city in New York. And during that blackout, everybody went bananas. And I'm like, in my project building across the street is the bodegas. And then right across from there's some set of stairs, and right next to the stairs was like all these stores and the supermarket. Man, people broke into the supermarket. They burned the supermarket, burned the thing next to that. So the whole block was things that was burned down across the street. The abandoned buildings, they burned those down. So this is across from the project. So even when I went home, I'm looking at all these things, but while I'm in it, I'm just in it. So I'm just it's part of my world experience. And I'm seeing these things and stuff, man. But when I'm showing back up now that I'm leaving from North Carolina back up, I'm driving to see the things, but now I see them differently. I've been in the army and I'm doing all this other stuff. And exactly right. It was bad, sunshine. And you gotta remember, I'm living in the projects where it's story like 20 something stories in the buildings, like thousands of people on one city block. And I remember during that time, like, when you're in a blackout, and as you're in a blackout, that means then we had to blackout, water channel, so lights are off, water's not doing nothing. So everybody's urinating in the staircases, people in the houses urinating, defecating. It was just a mess. I'm already living in a place to where, like, our kitchen table was like, I remember because we used to play cards on the kitchen table and stuff, right? I'm on the kitchen table. My kitchen table was crate. It was like milk crates. And on milk crates, we had a cardboard that we had flattened out on that right there. And the chairs was the milk crates. So we sitting on the milk crates. And there had been a time prior to that was a actual table, but as time went on, that table was already old and broke down. And by the time that table broke down all the way out, we just had the milk crates and the cardboard box on top of the milk crate, and we sitting on the milk crates as this right here. And on the milk crate, you may have some type of foam, something that you done found from an old chair, something that's just sitting on there. So I'm growing up in all this space, right? But also it's part of my world experience. I'm not thinking more than this is how life is. So going into the military and then getting a chance to get my own thing, and then driving back home, and then still getting a chance to take a picture of my mother. One of the last pictures that I had, like when she was back in New York City when I was a kid, and I'm growing up taking a picture, and I'm seeing behind, I'm seeing everything else. But the reason why I say that story is because when I'm with the picture of my mother, I can see the burned out buildings, but it also takes me back for the moment that I can review and even relive emotionally all the things that I saw that was torn down, broken down, everything else around me. But I didn't really pay attention to it until I came back. So I left, saw other things in North Carolina, how things could be different, came back to the city. Then I started paying attention to how bad things really were. So despite those things, despite those challenges, despite those things and where I come from, I still believe that I was truly destined for something great. I still was leading by example. I left, and I was still coming back. But even when I was coming back, everything that I learned, I was always looking to teach and show somebody. Everything I figured out, I was encouraging other people to do something more as well. Leading by example. Always understanding that everybody has challenges. Everybody has things they're going through. But leading by example, you take the lead. You go first. You become self-motivated. You want to lead other people, you do it yourself. Number 8, I encourage people to journal. Write down your thoughts, your experiences, your individual process that you're going through, emotions. Track your process and your progress. Right, Nick? You know, times I said, me and Nick have done things, and I said, listen, I said, write this down, document this, document the date, document what you did, document how you felt. You know why? Because many of us, we have books inside of us. All right. And I'm always saying document these things that we've gone through, because there'll be a time, ladies and gentlemen, where you will have an opportunity to be on a stage talking to people. And somewhere along the line, before you in your pride, whether you may talk to people because you've hit a certain income level, certain rank level, or just for the fact that people saw your resilience and how you constantly keep showing up, and they see that you may also be a speaker, or they may heard how you speak on a call, or on a live, or you did a podcast, or something what you have done, and they will ask you, like they asked me the very first time I became a speaker outside of the network marketing space. I was doing these types of trainings and coaching from the stage. And as I'm there, some of the people at the end who were like, they were like business owners, and they was coming to me after, they was like, yo, do you speak outside of these events? And I'm like this, don't like this. Of course I do. I didn't, but I was like, of course Catherine. I clasped my fingers on him. I was like, of course I do. You know what I mean? I went home that night. I got on the internet. I put together a website. Listen, because back then I didn't know how to do this stuff, but they've been having where you can go onto a website and you can actually, I think it was homestead.com. I don't know if they still do it. It was like Homestead. I went on Homestead. I put together a website. I went to other motivational speakers, see what they talking about, scanning stuff, taking bits and pieces, put it over here. Because they was asking me, hey, can you email me like a link? And I was like, yeah, of course I can. I ain't have nothing. So I went home. The picture up, my grandma shot picture up. Because I didn't really have no pictures. I had grandma shots. So I put out pictures. I'm like, yo, let me get myself up here. So by the time I was finished, I'm like, yeah, www.jason. And then I sent them the link after that. They're like, very impressive. Of course it is, because it was somebody else's site. Of course it was impressive, because somebody spent thousands of dollars for it. I just jacked it. Yo, son, I jacked them. I put together my own thing. But in my process of doing that, that's how I started speaking outside of this. Because people heard me speaking and they loved how I was moving people in that moment. And that became my first opportunity to speak at a Fortune 500 company. You know what I'm saying? Exactly right, Nick. Exactly right. So I'm telling you, there's going to be a time where somebody's going to see you. They're going to hear you. They're going to, because of how you show up, because of how you're resilient. That's why I always say journal. Have books. I was like right here next to my thing, right? I got like this right here, right? So all this right here, these are inside this little, I got a little thing right here, right? These are notebooks, right? I got books, after books, notebooks. I keep like a lot of notebooks around me. Books that these are like years and years and years of me taking notes and stuff, right? This is just some of those. These are not even all the, I ain't even showing you all the ones. I got other journals, other things around that I've always taken notes in, whether it's from network marketing, whether it's from speaking, whether it's some type of leadership, whatever it is, I've always been in that space that I was absolutely doing these things and stuff, right? Come on in, come in. I'm sorry, guys. Zoe, come on in, come in. I'm sorry, guys. Somebody's opening the door. You know, Zoe get the knocking on the door, get the barking. You guys got to come in. I'm talking. All right, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, hurry up. Come on in here because she's barking while I'm talking to the people. Yeah, okay, I got you. Oh, my bad. Okay, got you. I'm like trying to help you get it, come on in. I actually got my apologies, guys. I asked my son and my grandson, you guys good? All right, good stuff. All right. So that's the deal. Like I said, I encourage people to journal, but I only show this you guys so you see. Like even myself, like this right here, this one I'm looking at from, I'm probably taking notes in this one, like 2000, I don't know, 2004, 2002. Matter of fact, 2003. It says it right here, 2003. All right. Matter of fact, I remember asking this gentleman, and you guys may have heard me say this quote like years ago, right? Because I asked this gentleman after an event, like we always do. I asked this gentleman, I said to him, tell me one thing that I can do because everybody at every event always asking people, what can you do? What's different? Give me that one thing? We're always looking for that one nugget. And he had told me, he said, and I wrote it on my book, he said, and you guys heard me say this same quote. And I've told you that I've told many times how I got it. But he said, this is a company I was with called Prepaid Legal in 2003. And he said, he told me, he said, there's two things that changes a man. That's inspiration and that desperation. And of course, after when he said that, I'm like, there's two things that changes a man, inspiration and desperation. And I wrote that down. I'm like, yeah, I said, because I'm like, then I started saying, either you're going to be inspired by something someone else. That's the part that I added myself. Either you're going to be inspired by something someone else says or something that someone else does or something that you see is going to inspire you to become more, or you're going to be desperate enough to change your situation. That one thing he said helped open a thought in my mindset that just changed how I looked at things. Another thing that was said to me was like, there's no true way to test the heart of a man. You can only lead by example. When they said that, I was like, there's no true way to test the heart of a man. You can lead by example. So when they said that to me, I had the book to write. I wrote it on the front because at the moment in time, that was something, even I was asking for one thing, it was something, but I journaled it. But that journaling of that back in 2003 helped set thoughts in my mind on how I got to show up, how I have to be, how I have to make it happen, how I have to push through. All these things started happening based off of me journaling. Let me plug this in real quick. Hold on a second, guys. I didn't realize my battery's about to go dead. All right. But that was because of journaling. So I want to make sure that you learn to write down your thoughts, your experiences, processes, emotions. All these things are important because you can go back to a time when it's time for you to do your own book. And somebody may want you to speak. And at that time, they wanted me to speak. And what I did, I was like, when they come in, I'm going to actually give people ebooks. I put together an ebook and everything at the time. 5 keys and steps to this right here and things that I would give to people at the end. Because during that time, I was just learning about how you can actually get people's information. So I'm like, when they do this, they can email me this. I'm sending them an ebook, and I'm putting together an ebook. And it was like an e-zine at the time when they call those things, little e-zines and stuff, right? And I'm putting together this stuff because I was taking notes and learning so when it was time for me to implement these things, I was able to give it. So I want you to know that there's going to be a time that you may have to tell your story, and your story can be in a simple book. And that book can go on to inspire people around the world. All right. And I'm saying you can do events and gift these books. You can do different things, and you never know what one person may read a book or something that you've given that may change their life. That's why I was saying I encourage that you start to journal and you pay attention to not just taking notes, but how you feel, what was happening. All these things that are important. Number 9, utilize visual reminders. Utilize visual reminders. And again, we're talking about how you can become self-motivated, how you can, instead of waiting for somebody to help you move, these are things that you can actually do yourself. When I talk about utilizing visual reminders, like creating visual cues, such as vision boards, motivational quotes. You guys know, you see how I told you? That's why I told you that's a visual reminder for me. All right. I'm saying things that can serve as a constant reminder of your goal and your reasons behind them. All these tools can reignite motivation. Like when you got times of doubt and fatigue and things you're going through, things like that can inspire you. Like myself, I have books that I have, like I have some that I have, like even like this is one of my ones that I have that I keep with me all the time because I have my 12-month coaching program inside this, and it helps me to stay focused. But in this one, I have different trainers I'll do. I have one of the trainers that I have, The Secret to Mobilizing People, and I have that one in here. You know what I'm saying? 5 practices of getting unstuck. Even though I know that one by the top of my head, I have that one in there. Right? You know what I'm saying? I got the training that I got for we get paid to do 3 things or something. You know what I'm saying? I got little quotes like a friend will accept you for who you are, and a mentor won't let you stay there. All right. I'd rather hurt your feelings than hurt your future. All these things that I actually say that remind me of myself to stay focused on self. Even says right here, listen to positive motivational messages. It will interrupt the story in your mind, the story you believe about yourself. These are things that I say for myself to remind myself. Because everything is about a frequency. Everything is about the frequency that we choose and how we choose to show up. It's kind of like our echo. What you put out is what you're going to get back in. So if you're putting out negative information, your negative thoughts, your negative feelings, you'll get a lot of things that's going to transpire and come back for you to remain in that negative state. So you want to have these cues and boards and things around you that keep you, like even right here, it says be, do, and have anything you want. Ask, believe, receive. I got little cues around me for myself to remind myself. Notes and things that I have and things that I write little things down around me at different times. That can always reignite motivation in periods of doubt and fatigue. And number 10 is promote resilience through adversity. Promote resilience through adversity. I want to encourage you to view obstacles as opportunities for growth, for transformation. There are ways of how you can approach challenges versus just, man, every time I turn around. No, these are new opportunities for growth. And they can after that, they can start to transform. Every time you look at things, your approach to all challenges can start to change. As you start to build up this resilience. Personal development, it fosters a resilient mindset. And that's why we always say to be focused on personal growth, personal development, as you absolutely look to grow yourself, grow your organization, grow your belief. All these things are important. So now that we had this conversation about how you can be self-motivating, how you can get yourself into a better state, how you can actually transform yourself, how you can get yourself back into this space, just reflect on these things. Reflect for yourself. Because this week right here has to be a week, all right? We had a training call on Saturday, and I said several things to do. I said, make sure this week you get your calendar out, and I said, schedule calls that you get in your calendar. Once you put in your calendar, then you fill that. You find people to put into that. Don't worry about, I tried to call this person, no, and they said, no, you put it on your calendar. I'm going to do a call. And if nobody shows up, you still do the call. You still do it because you got to get good at doing a presentation. You got to get good at presenting. You got to go live. Even right now, while we're talking here, I'm going live right here on TikTok. Hey, what's going on TikTok? I'm going live. No matter if you got 1 viewer or 2 viewers, people pop in and out. They used to be doing songs and things on TikTok. They probably log on and think I'm about to sing a song. I'm over here dropping knowledge. Got me? Surprise, kaboom. Guess who stepped in the room? To Cal. So, okay, that's what you wanted, TikTok? Okay, I gave you what you want to have. So everybody else, all right? I want to make sure that everybody here, all right, in this space right here, you understand that I've given you some strategies, techniques, ways, but this week has to be a week that you jump into your personal motivation and you do the things necessary because you're motivated to do so. Not because of the monetary value on it. That's going to come. You know how I always say, focus on your purpose, not the outcome. Don't worry about the outcome of it. Focus on your purpose. The outcome is going to be an outcome. You know, in your purpose, you're looking to grow yourself, know yourself, to grow yourself. As time goes on, as you focus on your purpose, the outcome itself is what it is. That's a part of you in your personal development, part of your personal growth, part of what comes next. And everything that comes next is supposed to happen. And you have to say to yourself, it's supposed to happen. That's supposed to be a part of what comes next. That's part I've been asking for. Every time you start saying, I want to earn money, I want to become a success, I want this right here, I want that. The goal for you to do these things is not just for you to earn the income. As they said it before, like I said, it was Jim Rohn or one of these guys who said it. Make it a goal to earn $1 million, not because of the million, but because of who you will become or who you must become in the process of earning that. That means it's going to be stuff that's going to come. Everybody says they want to be a millionaire. Then your friends and your family will laugh at you in the process. You know why they're laughing? Because they've heard of millionaires, but they've never seen one in the process. And they've seen you going through the process. And you're going through the process. So going through the process, you look unfamiliar to people. It looks uncanny to them. They're not used to seeing somebody in that process. That's why when you get there, they're going to go, oh, I always knew you was going to get there. I'll vote. Now they laughing and giggling now. They laughing like these are laughing at me when I used to show up, Tammy, when I would come up to my guys, and we used to always be in Tim boots. I'd be posting these old pictures of my Tims and Timberland boots and my hardcore gear, my dreads and everything else. And I used to go around my friends and they like, I'm in my suits and ties, sunshine. Look at Dr. Deacon, Reverend Love, Dr. Scott. They want to laugh and joke. You know what I'm saying? They want to laugh and joke at me. I'm coming up after I did a home party and I'm walking up to my fellas. They still out chilling. They are chilling, smoking and rapping. I'm coming up, just finishing a home party. They're like, Deacon Dr. Love, Reverend Scott. I got a suit and tie on. You know what I'm saying? But I meant it. I meant who I was. I said who I say I am. I don't care about that. I'm showing up like, yeah, and what? But the thing is this, my fellas, they used to crack on me, but they love that. They love that I was about that life. They love that I was that person. Even to this day, they'll tell me, man, they always tell me I was an inspiration. Because while we was young, I was always looking to get it. I was always trying to figure out the next step. Managing, they want to rap, all right, let's go rap. I'm booking shows. I'm doing stuff I didn't even know what the heck I was doing. I'm just like booking, we on shows, we on the radio. Trust me, I remember one time I'm on the radio, my song playing. Now my kids heard the song in the house. They on the radio, this on the radio, like, yo, dance on the radio. I'm like this. Yeah, son, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm on the radio, son. You know what I'm saying? Because I was saying all these things I would do, and then I would just do it. I had no clue. But I always believe that all things are possible for those who believe. And many times we just got to just say that's the self. Because we all could be, we all should be, we all want to be, we all must be further along than what we currently are. All of us. And it's okay. At any given time, you choose to make the decision that this day is the day. This day, I'm not going back. This day, I'm going to be proactive instead of being reactive, instead of waiting till after everything falls apart. Now I want to jump into action. No, I'm going to be proactive because I'm locking in on my purpose. I said I want this thing. I'm going to let my purpose pull me forward to that thing. I know vision pushes, purpose pulls you forward. And as your vision pushes, and sometimes your vision can be blurred, and sometimes your vision can almost topple you over. And so your vision can be so big, you might lose your balance as it's pushing you. But your purpose, even if it may push you, but it's still the purpose to pull you forward. And you just be pulled towards it because no matter what shows up, you have a purpose. So ask yourself, what's that purpose for you? What's that well-defined purpose? And the thing is this, I said well-defined, but the purpose may shift and change as you change. And it's okay. You may lock into a new purpose, not just a goal, but your purpose and your reason why. Reason why, what would drive you? People would say, this is my why, but the why for some reason stops them when you say you're going to do it for your kids, but why did you quit if it's for your kids? Why did you stop if it's for your kids? Why are you stopping if it's, well, I got to earn this money, then why did you stop if you had to earn the money? Why did you quit? You had to earn the money. But when it becomes purposeful, like me, keeping my promise to my mother that I'm going to empower people, even though it's Easter, and everybody's like, well, it's Easter time. What we should be doing? I'm like, no, I'm still showing up. People are going to watch YouTube videos. They're going to watch something else. They're going to do something anyway. We might as well come together and be a part of the community. And we can extend ourselves to other people in other communities they may or may not be inspired by the things I say. They may or may not. Most of them don't know what I do outside of seeing me lip sync a song on TikTok. They don't know much. Most people don't know. People on Instagram have heard me speak, have heard me do other things. People on Facebook have had. People on TikTok have heard me speak here and there. But normally, even on that, I'll normally go live and just be playing music and having a great time and talk about products amongst that right there. All right. So just just you guys on TikTok, and just this 1 hour power was actually It was actually brought to you by ISO Instant Detox Tea, of cleansing tea. This tea right here, guys, can help people lose 5 pounds in 5 days. Who do you know would like to lose 5 pounds in 5 days? Get back with the person who invited you to this TikTok live, all right, and let them know that you want to get a 1 week supply. So this episode was brought to you by ISO Detox Tea. Tropical Punch. All right. So anyway, guys, that was my commercial. Yeah, you heard. Yeah, okay. You make sure you click it. That's my commercial that I popped in. All right. So since the people on TikTok, they used to people talking about a product and clicking the link and pushing that product. I just dropped my knowledge on that right there. Period. I gotta listen. Do I have any leader or any person have any last minute comments, statements, anything they want to share before we're done on our call tonight?
Mr. Scott.
Yes, ma'am.
Great vision mastery. Oh my goodness. Listen, I'm writing down everything, but what stood out to me the most was number 5, okay? Which number 5 is practice positive self-talk, right? No matter steps 1 through 10, 1 through 5, 1 through 3, 7, 8, whatever, okay? It's all about the word, right? The power of your word. In the beginning, okay, for those of you who are spiritual, in the beginning, there was the word, right? And the word is what brought about life. The word is what brought about everything.
Yes.
So the words that we speak are going to bring about our future, right? And sometimes when we speak things, and we all do it, and we all do it, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes when we're speaking positive, we'll always have that negative voice that speaks back, right? We're living in a world of duality. So we'll have that, we'll say, I'm going to do, or I can do. And then in the back of our mind, we'll hear that voice that says, no, you can't. Right? How many of you guys have experienced that? You say it, I can, and then you hear, no, you can't. Right? It's the word. Exactly. It's the word. It's the word. It's the power of the word. But as he said, we have to continue to talk to ourselves. We have to continue to talk to ourselves. So for me, one of the things that I started doing, Mr. Scott, I think I told you this years ago, I gave my negative self-talk, that voice, I gave it a name. Okay. And that name is Trixie. So whenever I hear Trixie, tell me something that I can't do, or something that I shouldn't be doing, or something that I'm not able to do, I have to tell Trixie, to shut up. Shut up, Trixie. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you don't shut up, okay? So it's the power of the word, because if we continue to speak negative to ourselves, or we continue to listen to that negative voice, all the other numbers are not going to matter. You're going to get off this call, and then you're going to, start thinking about things, and you're going to say, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. And if you let that negative self-talk tell you can't do it, you're going to close up your journal. You're going to close up your notebook, and then you're going to go back to believing that you can't, right? So we have to be in the energy, in the space that we talk to ourselves. We give our words power. But we only give our positive words power, and we tell our negative words to STFU, okay? And for those of you who don't know what that means, don't worry about it. It's another word of just saying, shut up, all right? So that's all I wanted to add, and I'll turn the call back over to you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Listen, I appreciate you for just sharing that right there. Matter of fact, Sherry, she said, for every negative thought, you can make yourself think about 5 positive. So exactly right. When Trixie starts talking, you like, shut it, shut it. And that's what we got to do. You got to grit your teeth, bite, shut them. Listen, you know how many times I did that to myself? Listen, it'd be like out loud. Shut your mouth. Shut up. Shut up. I'd be like, I'm that way. Some people not that way. I am literally verbal that way. I'm like, when I recognize that it's me, everybody want to blame somebody else. They always want to say it's a reason why it's me. I know when it's me. You know what I mean? And you can act like it's everybody else if you want, but I know when it's me. And when it's me, I check me for me. All right. So I appreciate that. Anybody else got any last thing you want to share before we're done?
Hi, good evening.
Hey, what's going on, Coach Catherine?
Hi, Coach. So far, well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for this visionary class. So what stood out for me is number, I think it's 10, focus on my purpose. The outcome will come naturally. So I find a lot of times, like I'll speak for myself, sometimes my focus could go all over the place and which could throw me off. But if I just focus on my purpose, things will come naturally instead of trying to quote unquote chase after this or worry about other things.
Yes.
And like you said, the vibration, I have to be in alignment with what it is that I want. And so once I stay focused on my purpose, everything will fall into place. So thanks again for the reminder and all the other tips.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate you as well, Coach Catherine. I mean, you know, you're right. Everything is really important that we learn to not have that like it's gonna be like shotgun leadership or shotgun activity. That means you put so much all over the place that you have to have a laser focus on a thing. And when your focus allows you to be laser focused on it, it won't allow you to be having that shotgun leadership where this and you like it's like when you have a shotgun, it's like a bunch of BBs everywhere that goes everywhere, buckshots. But what can lock it in is that laser focus. When you focus in on the thing that you want, and you're able to stay laser focused until it burns through that burning hot desire for what you want, and you focus on that and your purpose. It's all inside. Even you know, the books that we have back here, Think and Grow Rich talks about that. It talks about have that burning hot desire, that burning. It has to be on like inside you, like this is it. It's nothing else. Nothing else is going to stop me from obtaining my goal. That's why you can hear many of the greatest singers that was doing this since they was kids. And they was the parents to tell you, they used to be like, they was 3, like, I'm gonna be this. There was 4, I'm gonna do this. And people was like, yeah, when they were like 5 and 6 and then 7 and then 8 and then they weren't just saying it for a time and then stop. They was kids like, this is who I'm gonna be, and they meant it. And when they actually did it, people were like, yo, they was since they was 5, since they was 6, since they was this, they were saying it and they was doing everything about that because even as a kid, they were just laser focused on it. And by the natural flow of that, like I said, what you think about, you bring about. What you ask for, you shall receive. And that laser focus will start to bring to you what you're looking for. But that's that gunshot, that's that buckshot. It's scattered. And it's not, that's why many of us can't get to where you want to get to because it's all over the place and you can't. And I get it because life and situations and challenges and so much can weigh heavy, and that heavy weight can slow you down and hold this arm down, then another weight, hold this arm down, then hold this leg down, hold this leg down. All you got is you just wiggling. You know what I'm saying? But you got to learn to break through all of that and stay focused on your goals, focus on your dreams, focus on your aspirations, focus on what you want. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. The battlefield is the battlefield of the mind. That's why we say, you know what I'm saying? It's not what happens to you. It's what you do with what happens to you that makes the difference between winning and losing. All right, guys, I appreciate all you guys are logged on to the Vision Mastery call. As soon as you guys pop off this call, I'm going to stay on TikTok Live, probably play some music, some songs over here. Pop over here with me for a few. For those of you guys know it, Jason L. Scott, 1ST on TikTok. If you guys want to pop in for a little bit. But always remember, given the sum total of all your decisions, you cannot change who you are. But given new life, new vision, new unity, you can change who you become. So with that today, not tomorrow, but like right now, let's all just become. Unmute your mics and let's all say good night. Love you guys. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night,
Thanks,
Good night,
everyone.
everyone.
everybody. All right.